Welcome to Fantasy Fantano, the fantasy football league for music nerds. The game is that you've got to pick artists that you think are going to release records in 2021.
You want more information, just watch the video. The first video we made, it's in the description.
If one of the artists on your team releases an album which gets an 89 on Metacritic and a strong 9 from Fantano, they'll earn you a sweet 98 points.
I should mention, though, quite a big caveat before we start, which has affected the rules of the game. The 12 biggest selling artists, so Drake, Ed Sheeran, and 10 others, they've broken away to form their own super Metacritic, where they just give everything 100, no matter how well received the album is. So that is going to start. Oh, hang on, sorry, I've just got a notification. Oh no, that's all falling apart.
Oh, it's all falling apart?
Yeah, it's all falling apart.
It's a joke specifically for people who are into music and football. We're going to start by talking about some of the big misses. These are the releases that have come out since we last made a Fantasy Fantano video that nobody in the league picked. Either we didn't see it coming, or we might have seen it coming. We thought it wasn't going to get a good review, but then it did get loads of good reviews. Starting with Brockhampton with their record Roadrunner: New Light, I think.
I just always forget Brockhampton exists until they do anything. Like, they release an album, and I'm like, oh, Brockhampton exists. And then they go out of my mind until they next release a project.
I didn't put them because Ginger did not get great reviews, and nor did Iridescent, so it seemed like they were on a bit of a downswing. But actually, really quite well liked this record, particularly by the Melon Man, who really liked it, gave it an 8.
Next up, I can't believe neither of us saw this one coming. A release by a band who last year released your favourite album of the year and then broke up. Now, they are still broken up, this band, which is Black Dresses, in case you hadn't caught on. But they have released another album anyway, so that's nice.
Yeah, they specifically released an album and said, but we're still broken up, though. And the thing is, obviously, you can break up and then release a post-breakup album that you recorded beforehand, but that wasn't the impression I got with this. Also, they shot, new visuals for this after having broken up, which makes me think that they are still working together and releasing stuff.
No, they've broken up. They said it in the statement. They've broken up.
So yeah, Black Dresses. Obviously, Fantano liked it and got good reviews, and I listened to it and loved it, obviously, because Black Dresses are amazing.
Next up, the Godspeed You Black Emperor album, which was, of course, called God's P at State's End. Have you listened to the album?
No, of course not.
No, neither have I, but I did read the name of the first track on the album. Do you want me to read it to you? Go
for it.
A military alphabet, brackets, 5 eyes all blind, close brackets. Open brackets, 4521.0 kHz, 6730.0 kHz, 4109.09 kHz, close brackets. / Job's Laments, / First of the Last Glaciers, / lowercase, Where We Break, How We Shine. Bracket, Rockets for Mary, close brackets. So I think I've heard enough. I've heard enough, to be honest. Next up, Slow Tie. We didn't pick Slow Tie because we thought he was cancelled.
Yeah, I thought it was well cancelled.
I thought he was super cancelled after that disastrous award ceremony where he sort of misogynistically slagged off the host.
She wants me to take to her flowers.
But no, it turns out he's not cancelled, and in fact continues to be very well reviewed. So well done, Slow Tie.
The next one is somebody that we've genuinely met, Jane Weaver. Somebody who we've been aware of for a while. If you're watching and you're not from the UK, you probably haven't heard of Jane Weaver. She is, I guess, art pop. I'd say the definition of art pop, Jane Weaver.
Yeah, I would say neo-psych as big neo-psych influence, yeah.
And this record got fucking rave reviews. Isn't it something stupid like 3rd on Metacritic globally?
It's like the 5th biggest album on Metacritic right now. It's gone really well for us. So, what's your favourite album of the year so far then? Because that also, I believe, no one saw that one coming.
Yes, my favourite album of the year so far is Genesis Owusu, who was reviewed by Anthony Fantano very positively because he was switched on to Genesis Owusu by Kieran J. Callanan. Lovely little connection there.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, Kieran J. Callanan, who is on the Genesis Owusu record as well.
Oh, right, wicked. I seem to listen to that record. I know you love it.
Yeah, it's great. And more to the point, I was switched onto the record by Genesis Owusu himself, which I quite enjoy. I am part of a I'm part of a
met him?
music. Yeah, I met him. I just saw him in Clapham. Was like, now then, Genesis Owusu. No, I'm on a music Facebook group, and Genesis Owusu is on that group, and he posted saying my album just got an 8 from Anthony Fantano, and I thought, bully for you, dude. But then I was like, all right, I'll listen to it then, and it was really good. So there you go.
Yeah, good. And my favourite album of the year is probably currently, which admittedly I only listened to it literally today, but it was fucking amazing. Kids by Noga Erez, who's a great Israeli artist. If you like Gorillaz, Billie Eilish, MIA, even a bit of Fiona Apple.
The next thing we're going to talk about is big announcements. These are records that have been announced that people in the league have picked. The first of which being Black Midi. Both of us slept on. Other people in the league picked this. We totally fucking slept on it. I think because they only released something 2 years ago.
You know me, not a fan of Black Midi's first album at all. Pretty much the only person in the country who didn't like it.
No, including me, who does really like that album. I really like Black Midi.
New single John 50, really good. Really enjoyed
really
that
good.
one. A lot more Cardiacs inspired.
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to seeing if the rest of the album goes that way as well.
It's wilder, and also the instrumentation's more daring. It's got like violins and pianos on it, and it's I fucking love John 50. It's definitely my favourite song of the year that's come out so far. I can't tell you how many times I listened to that track, so I have big hopes for the new Black Midi record.
Another album we were pretty much convinced was going to come out this year and has now been announced, Squid.
Yes.
We both have on our lists.
I've enjoyed the 2 Squid singles that have come out so far. I don't like them as much as their pre-album cycle stuff, I'll be honest, but I do really like Squid, so I've got high hopes for this record.
I think it's pretty squids in to get a good score.
Yeah.
Please cut that. Rosalia, who is your star player, your most expensive player.
Yeah, and there's now announced a record. I'm pretty confident in this one. You know,
it was a good shout. It was a great pick.
Expensive, but sometimes you got to invest in your stars, your Harry Kanes, your I can't name a single other football player in the country.
Marcus Rashford. Kera Benito. There's an interesting one.
Yeah, now Kera Benito were on my squad, and I don't think anybody else's. I think I was the only person.
No. They're on someone else's, actually, yeah.
Okay.
I saw them.
And I was thrilled with this pick. I thought, fucking nailed this here. They're dead on to release something. They released an EP last year. They're on a hot streak. They're quite small, so they're quite cheap, but they're loved by Fantano. And they did release something, and it was a 3-track EP.
EPs, they don't get on Metacritic, and they don't get scores from Fantano.
Is it good? Yes, it is good. The last track, the long one, is one of the most bonkers things I've ever done, but enjoyable.
Yeah, it's like an 8-minute trance song about human survival instincts. Weird, fun.
I've just got one more big announcement that I think we should pay homage to. Somebody in the league put a wild card in their team, which we both, when it came in, thought, oh, okay. Daft Punk, yeah.
Daft Punk.
Who have had a huge announcement since we last did a record, but the announcement is that they have blown up. Daft Punk no longer exists. Probably one of the biggest pieces of music news that's come out so far this year. Yeah, pretty nailed on that Daft Punk will not be releasing an album this year. Or maybe they will. Maybe they'll like completely one up LCD Sound System and like break up, and within the same year be like, psych, here's a record. That's what I hope they do. Time to move on to albums that have come out that were in people's teams. The first of which is on both of our teams, Black Country New Roads record for the first time.
It scored us 83 on Metacritic plus 8 from the Melon, 91 in total.
Which is pretty good. That's. I mean, unless you get a
score.
complete ubiquitous 9s across the board, 9s and 10s across the board, that's pretty much as well as you can score. So I'm glad with that we picked that.
And obviously this wasn't going to get 9s and 10s across the board because, you know, objectively it was a fucking terrible album. Like, God, it sucked. It was horrible. I had to listen to it for the sole purpose of doing this video, and oh my God. I mean, the guy can't sing for a start. He just fucking growl speaks over the whole thing. It gets infuriating after 20 seconds.
Let's be clear, Flora. He doesn't sing. It's not that he can't sing.
No, he doesn't sing.
Nobody does like
awful.
Yeah, but loads of bands do that. Come on, he does talky.
The instrumentals are so boring. Arguably the only good instrumental is the one called Instrumental. The saxophonist needs to find a new band. They are too good for Black Country New Road. They're the only bright spark, but even they just kind of sound like they're indebted to X-Ray Specs. And the lyrics, I can't get over the fact they talk about kissing in front of Black Midi in one of the songs. As soon as I heard that, I just wanted to crumble into a tiny piece of paper and throw myself into the wind, never to be seen again. So we both hated this album.
No, we didn't.
but-
I liked it. Is it overhyped? Yes, it's overhyped. Like all of the records in this subgenre are overhyped.
The other album that I cashed in on, which you did not cash in on, was William Doyle. And William Doyle's album was...
It's time to move on to the most important thing to talk about, which is where is everybody placed in the league. So we're gonna rank the top 5, and in number 5 spot, it's shared between Mooney and me. Both of us are on the same amount of points purely from having chosen Black Country New Road. So we've only cashed in on one artist. There's a load of more artists in my squad that I'm really fucking banking on scoring me points later on. So at this point in the year, look, it's early in the season. I'm not worried yet.
In 4th place,
Yes.
well done to Benji, who's on 100 points, sitting pretty with a lovely Nick Cave cash in.
Joint 2nd place, it is Nat and our very own Flora Jackson. Well done, doing well so far, mate. Obviously, Flora banking off of William Doyle as well as Black Country New Road, and the great pick that Nat had was Shoo Shoo.
So to give you some idea, Nat and I, drawing on 2nd with 173 points. Our winner so far, our current champion, is sitting on 363 points, which is more than twice. What if you add Nat and mine's together, you still don't get to what our current number 1 has, which is the incredible, the amazing, the big Liz.
The big wins, Nick Cave as well, but also Arlo Parks, fucking great pick, super
Obvious.
well, massively hyped artist in the UK, and really good, to be fair.
Her other 2 picks were Hannah Peel and For Those I Love.
But they paid off, so
Paid off, yeah, so well done, Big Liz.
well done, Liz. Before we wrap up the episode, we should probably explain the substitution system, because some of you playing Fantasy Fantano might want to make use of this.
Yes, if, for example, you have a team like Daft Punk on your squad who you're suddenly quite sure aren't going to release a record, or indeed, if you've spotted an artist who you think, oh, I wish I'd got them in my team, you're allowed to make 3 substitutions. Now, let me tell you how that works. Number 1, if an artist on your team has already released an album, you may not substitute them. They are locked in. Number 2, if you like an artist and they've released an album and it's getting really good reviews, you obviously can't sub them in either. You can only sub artists who are yet to release projects. So, you can take one of your artists, recalculate their points value, depending on, again, how many monthly listeners they have and how much in the album cycle they are, how far through the album cycle. Recalculate that point value. That's your new point value, your new melon value, I should say. Find an artist with equal or lower melon value, and you can transfer the old artist out for the new artist. You get 3 of them in the game. Let me make it simple for you. I'll give you an example. Imagine, if you will, you had Kendrick Lamar on your team, who is currently worth 8 melons. But you've seen that Black Midi's releasing a new album, and you've worked that out, and they're worth 7 melons. And you're like, ooh, Kendrick's a bit risky, but Black Midi's pretty safe. You could sub out Kendrick Lamar and sub in Black Midi. Incidentally, Rob, I'm subbing out Kendrick Lamar and subbing in Black Midi.
Yeah, I'm also going to make the same substitution.
Oh, you cheap.
Yeah.
That was my idea and you stole it from me.
No, 100%. Like, until you told me
Yeah.
you were going to do that, I wasn't going to do it, but it's a fucking great idea.
there you
Ultimately, I think my squad's pretty good, but it's got too many risks, and Black Midi are not at all a risk. Whereas, as
Very
you pointed out, I think that Kendrick could be due his career stinker next. I'm going to make a second substitution as well. And it is obviously Kira Benito. But you have 3, 2 of which are Australian. I think Kieran J. Callanan, Rillatos, and Tropical Fuckstorm are all really good bets. They're all cheap because they're not super popular, but they're all probably due a project soon. And more to the point, Fantano fucking loves them. In the end,
who's it going to be?
I've gone with Tropical Fuckstorm.
See you again probably in July, August,
Yeah.
to give you a second update, and then probably just one more final update video with the final results. If you do want to play along, it is not quite too late to get involved. Have a look at the original video, it's in the description. Yeah, it's never too late to play the game of Fates to see Fantano.
Let's do it again.
It's never too late to play the game of Fate to see Fantano. Until next time.
Hey, Dan Cranston here, the Vanity Projects manager. Congratulations on making it to the end of an amazing video. Why don't you reward yourself by subscribing here or watching another video here? And why don't you reward me by lending me like £50 to £100? Please?